We good to go, Andy? No one's really...
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We're here back on ACC for another season on the PlayStation platform, here for the Gt3 League on a Wednesday night. My name's Andy, and tonight I'm joined in the box by a man who's usually out on the track for this series, but this season he had to pull out of all the championships due to a little glitch with his pedals. That is Ryan Ruby, who's one of our new coordinators and members of the staff team here on the Discord server. Ryan, welcome to the box, mate. First time in here, obviously watching the race from the sidelines today. And how do you feel about this slightly new vantage point here tonight?
It's not too bad. It's good to see who I've got to beat when I try and make my comeback towards the end of the season, which should hopefully be in a couple of rounds' time. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good bit of practice to see where these guys are standing for the rest of the championship.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously we saw the practice session a few moments ago was in the slightly damp conditions. Now we've got greasy conditions. Those of you who played ACC will know that greasy means pretty much dry. Albeit with a few little slippery spots here and there, so we'll be seeing more or less the sort of lap times you'd see in the dry, and every couple of seconds off of the dry lap times that we've been used to seeing over the course of the practice. But nonetheless, these drivers have got to do it here and now, because they've only got one shot at this. They only can do one lap in this qualifying here at Motive for the GT3, so you've got to do it there and then. There's no second chances. It's literally about delivering under pressure. In the moment, you see Nilsson's just sat it there coming through the Hislop chicane, so he'll be, I'm sure, trying to get those tyres back into their right zone again. Chris is pitted, so Chris is not going to do a lap here.
Yeah, he's not going to make it out in time. I noticed that on the run over the hill that he stops into the chicane.
Nilsson's also had a bit of a crawling moment here. He's had to back out a little bit, so you see a few drivers moving past him. He's now looking for a bit of space here. Oh, Denny Boy's just lost it coming through. I think that's Druid there. I think he's lost it. So Denny Boy is there. Is going to start. It's
he's lost it with Tony as well.
Tony Danger. Yeah. Or was it? No, it was Tony Danger. So right, we see
Windsor has just returned to the pit stop.
Yeah. So not going to be ideal at all for him then. So Speedy Chris has got himself back out there, but he's not going to get round in time to start a lap. So
it's going to be tight for Cod as he'll linger as he's going through the final sector now. 28 seconds to go. He might just be able to nab a lap in as he's about to start his final lap with a nice bit of fresh air.
Yeah, here he comes. Cod a little bit of a wiggle out of the last corner, so he will get over the line in time. Denny Boy's coming up through towards the Shell Oil hairpin. You've got Pete Bibb who's coming into Lodge. Tell you what, Pete Bibb's not going to get around in time, or is he already on a lap? I'm not sure. Nonetheless, Pete Bibb off towards the line. He's just going to be, I think this is a flying lap actually.
Yeah, Pete Bibb was on a flying lap, but he invalidated. So Pete Bibb will be down the pack. Here comes Guitar Rich, a driver that has been progressing over the last few seasons. He's going to go and set a 1:39.4.
Lovely lap there.
Next is going to be Surface. 3 seconds off the pace. Here comes Torday into the final corner, into this really tricky right-hander over the crest. Not too much throttle as you lose the back end, just on that crest where Torday is then. Up to the line he comes. Where will he go? He's going to go P3. Unfortunate lap for Torday there.
The Guitar Rich really setting a blistering pace at the moment. Seems to be the man to beat, and obviously with the greasy track, he's got it in early, but the rain doesn't really seem to be coming down. But Archie's lost it out of the last corner, so he's not going to set pole over. Archie's had a huge wiggle there. Tony Dancho's going to be next over the line. He's got a bit of damage on the front of AMG. Nonetheless goes P3 anyway, so that's a decent time there from him. Who else is coming through? Pod's just got a few corners left to go now. Is Nilsson's on that? No, Nilsson's pitted. So it's going to be Quadalungu, the last driver here to set a lap time. Is it going to be pole here? He needs a 1:39
He's
to get on
just
pole.
validated, I've just noticed.
Has he? Oh no. So Guitar Rich taking the first pole position of the season. Great job from Guitar Rich here. He's clearly been putting in the work over this pre-season. And Guitar Rich with his first ever pole here at Motive in the GT3s here on ACC. Fantastic job in that Lexus. Denny Boy on his debut here in the league is going to be starting this one on the front row alongside him. Tony Danjo will start this one in third with Spuzz in fourth place. Then you've got Torde fifth, followed by Pete Bibb in P6, followed by Nilsson seventh. Archie in eighth place, didn't get a lap in. Speedy Chris ruining his chance at the start. And Ryan's not actually in the race session, he is in the comms box alongside myself. That is a glitch there. Quadalungu starting towards the back in P10 for this race, and Windsor will be in P11, having not got a lap in either. Only 5 drivers getting a lap in, and Guitar Rich really nailing his one shot at pole. And I've got to say, Ryan, it's a surprise that he's on pole, but the big surprise is the gap that Guitar Rich has got at the top of that leaderboard. He really did nail his one shot there.
Sorry. Yeah, he has, and you can see that he's been putting in the practice in to put him on the top step of people to watch out for this season, as we are currently missing a couple of drivers, but for Guitar Rich, who was mid-pack last season when I was racing, he's improved massively.
Yeah, he really has. He's clearly been putting in the work, and it's great to see. Also, I want to just apologise to the viewers here who might have been expecting a full grid here tonight. Unfortunately, a few drivers couldn't make it tonight. So obviously Ryan alongside us in the box due to some issues with his pedal. Rapid Duck was supposed to be here, didn't say he wasn't coming, but he's not here. Snooky said his essay's not high enough, so he can't join. Grey Wolf is on Destiny. Evan said he's stuck at work, and Butler Racing said he'd be coming tonight, but isn't here either. RTP Wojciech didn't get back to us. TTV's on holiday. Reco Vantage also on holiday as well. So yeah, basically we picked we clearly picked the wrong week to start the season, didn't we? But nonetheless, 11 cars out on the track, not too bad when you consider literally half the grid are on holiday at the moment. Iron Saber also couldn't make this first race. Tino unable to be here. Tibbs doesn't have the DLC for Oulton Park, so yeah, a total disaster this week. But nonetheless, you know, we're still going to have a good race here tonight. Looks like it's going to be a dry race for this one, which is a bit of a surprise because we've been seeing quite a bit of changeable weather in the build-up to this. So that might just make the strategy a little bit difficult.
Just keep in mind that wheel is also the time progression. As only saying the next 7 minutes, because that can change massively.
Yeah, 100%. And what a lot of these drivers might be doing now, because obviously you can see that it's dry at the moment, but with that unpredictability in, a lot of the drivers will be opting for a mixed setup, so to speak. So they might have a setup which is, you know, with the wet weather in mind, because we know it can change very quickly. Yeah, absolutely. And in the practice sessions that we've seen earlier on, we've seen that the weather can change and then go back to dry again. So it'll go from dry to wet again. It really does change from 1 minute to the next, and that will be playing in a lot of these drivers' minds. So that will be altering their preparation and just throwing an extra challenge into the mix here tonight. It's not going to be just about speed. It's not going to be about keeping yourself there. It's also going to be about being a bit smart with how you do things. But into the final 20 seconds here, so the drivers are now just readying up, getting ready to go for this. What's going to be, I think, a full formation lap by the looks of it.
Yes, it will be. But Andy, from looking back at the pre-practice times, there is a group of 6 cars that were within a second in the practice session. So those guys just obviously didn't get their laps in on that race time, which was it was Spuzz, Guitar Rich, Pete Bibb, Danny Boy, Speedy Chris, and Nilsson.
What were the times in the practice?
Were 136.3, and Nilsson was a 136.9.
I imagine that these were probably in full dry conditions, unlike the qualifying that we just saw, which was in green. Yeah. So that's sort of what's going to be exciting because we have got the full dry now.
Yeah, we also got to be careful because the track is showing up as green at the moment, so the tyres won't be able to light up as best as possible compared to it being a optimum or a fast track. So
Absolutely.
These guys are going to have to weave a bit harder to get the temperature in their tyres, but not do it too much and spin out. Because if you spin out and you're stuck on that grass and you lose time to the to where you should be, time to the place you should be in the formation, you could end up in the pit lane.
Yeah, for sure. For those who are unaware of what the green track setting means on ACC, basically a green track is a track where it has been wet and it's drying out, so there's still moisture. Obviously the grass might still be damp, so getting offline, getting off onto the grass, so any excursion is going to be punished more severely than if it was, say, a full dry day, because as soon as you get off of that track, that car's going to be skating around and it's going to make it more likely for people to end up in the wall should they go off the track. So it's going to be more challenging, and it can certainly lull you into a false sense of security when the track looks dry, but on the face of it there's still a little bit of moisture hanging around. So it's going to be exciting to watch. Again, we're not quite sure what the lap times were done in the practice. I think they might have been done on optimal, those 136s, so we might be not be seeing the times going as quickly as what we saw in the practice session earlier.
They definitely was done on in a dry temperature, because Tarvich's qualifying lap was a 1:39.4, so that was 3 seconds slower than his practice time.
That was on greasy. So it might have been on a green track, it might have been on fast, it might have been on optimal, we're not 100% sure, but I have a sneaky suspicion that the 136s were done on optimal.
From the time gap, I would say it would have been optimal or fast, because the track acclimatization changes massively when it gets to green, from green to fast to optimal.
100%, mate, I think you're right. As here we come in towards the lodge corner here, we're about to go racing for the first round of the season. Bit of a particular grid, we've already said what the reasons are for that. Obviously the summertime and middle of July, a lot of people are on holiday, so hopefully next week we'll have a few more in the grid. We'll have a lot of the regulars back, Reco Barnsley, Giant Sabre, TTV, to name a few, just a few of the guys who are missing this week. But here we come up towards the line, about to go racing here at Oulton Park for another season here, season 10 on ACC. Here at Motive on the PlayStation 4. Here we go, we're racing now down towards Old Hall corner. We come for the first time. Gt3, we've got Denny Boy looking down the inside. Gt3 goes deep into Old Hall, and Denny Boy moves up into the lead. Gt3 holds it on the outside, nicely done there from Gt3. Tony Danjo there in third place. We've got somebody who seems to have gone a little wide there. Nielsen is making a move on somebody, but in towards Cascades we come for the first time, and it's Gt3 from Denny Boy from Tony Danjo. There's another position changes at the front.
There is a massive position change as you come across the timing line. Kodalungu up to P5 off the start from being in P10.
Wow, Kodalungu has made incredible gains here at the start of this race. Denny Boy has taken the lead off of Gt3 and now has P1 in this race. You've got Spuzz there running in third place ahead of Tony Danjo, so Spuzz is gained ahead of Tony. Tony was obviously third on the grid, but Spuzz is now up ahead of him. Kodalungu here in fifth. Also, just to clear up one thing, there are two Tonys on this grid. You've got Tony Danjo, but you've also got Borde, whose name is Tony. So obviously they both have the same first name, but one of them is actually called Tony on his PSN, whereas the other one is not. Here we go, we've got Speedy Chris down the inside of Pete Div into the Hislop chicane. He's made the move up into sixth place, as Torde in the background has got Nielsen trying to hassle the back of him. Windsor and Arch running at the back. Archie's had a very, very scruffy first up to this race and not the start to the season that he would have wanted at all. Gt3 is absolutely crawling all over the back of Denny Boy right now. Look at this, 2/10 of a second currently separating the top two. Gt3 qualified on pole position, will be frustrated at having lost out on the first lap coming into turn one, but he's by no means giving up in this one at the moment. He is keeping Denny Boy guessing at this point, and Spuzz, to be fair to him, is keeping them very much in sight at this point. Tony there in fourth, also clinging to the back of him at the moment. Speedy Chris is currently looking pretty racy on the back of Kodalungu as well. You've got Pete Div ahead of Torde, Nielsen in ninth, and Archie has got ahead of Windsor up into the final top 10 spot as those two continue to battle it out. But Gt3 4/10 of a second behind Denny Boy at the moment, coming through Cascades for the second time. And look at this, Denny Boy's made a bit of a mistake there, coming out of Cascades. Here goes Gt3 coming down towards the island bend. He's going to get this done, isn't he, Gt3? Yes, he does. Oh no! Oh, there's a big collision there between the two of them! Oh no! And Spaz moves through. Spaz is now in the lead of the race. Tony Danjo is right on the back of him. But, oh my, I tell you what.
Chris has also got past Conalungu into the Island Bend.
Yeah, so Conalungu's moved up 3 positions in the space of 1 corner. Due to the other 2 spinning out and obviously making a move there on Cod as well. So
Cod is down to Pete. Cod is down to Pete into P4 by the way.
P4, yeah. So sorry, Speedy Chris into 3rd place. Guitar Rich though in the lead now. No, sorry, not in the lead. Sorry, he's well above. He's way back in last place. Obviously with the incident there with Denny Boy. Buzz leading this race, but Tony Danjo's now passing the back of him, half a second between those 2 at this point. Cod has dropped off to the back of Speedy Chris a little bit. Pete running in 5th now. Denny Boy down to 6th. He's recovered reasonably well from that incident there with Guitar Rich. Tordo just behind Denny Boy with Nielsen. Has got Archie very close on the back of him right now, but Guitar Rich has lost out enormously there. We saw him make a bit of contact with the wall coming out of Island Bend into towards the shallow hairpin. Question is, has he got damage on the car? It looked like quite a light tap into the wall. It looked like he slowed down the car quite a lot by the time he hit the wall. So maybe he would have got away without too much damage there. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Guitar Rich is going to be alright.
Between Archie and Nielsen, the 2 of us taking apart.
Yeah, they are indeed. Archie looking racy here after a stoppy start to the race. He didn't really have the start he wanted at all. Dropped down to last in the very first sector of the first lap, but yeah, he's looking like he wants to get on with this.
Now beginning a 3-way battle for the lead, which with this helicopter cam is making it look 10 times closer.
And he fixed the helicopter cam actually, now you mention it. Yeah, Oulton corner. There we go, we're on helicopter cam now, so you can see his Fuzz has just pulled out a little bit of a gap to Tony Danjo there, coming through the Britain chicane down towards his stops they come here, and Speedy Chris is looking a bit closer on the back of Tony at the moment. These 3 have gapped Cod quite a bit. In fact, Speedy Chris has gained on the front 2 quite a lot, but Cod has dropped off with him. Pete Bibbs is now taking up.
Under pressure from Pete Bibbs.
Yeah, he definitely was. Cod very wide there on the exit of Nickerberg. But Pete is not really in a position to do too much about it at the moment. He's got the cam is actually quite linear. Going to move to spread out. So yeah, Tony's dropped off of Spaz a little bit now. Spaz starting to pull away here at the front. But Speedy Chris is only 2 tenths behind Tony, looking to make a move into turn 1. He's having a little look, but he's not quite close enough to make anything happen just there.
He's in on the Conalungu here for T1.
Yeah,
Conalungu's just getting used to how this Mercedes feels. If some of the viewers are regulars coming back to the channel, they would have seen that we done a 2-hour endurance at Silverstone a couple of weeks ago, and Conalungu was really struggling with the Mercedes Benz, and it looks like he's a lot more in control of the car this week.
It doesn't, yeah, he definitely looks like he's got to grips with it a little bit. Just looking through the order, so currently Guitar Rich up into P10 has got ahead of Windsor, so he's made 1 position since that collision that we saw a few laps ago. Obviously with Denny Boy, but nonetheless, Spaz leading the race still by just under a second. Tony Danjo keeping him on his toes at the moment. In fact, Spaz lost a bit of time to these 2, Tony and Speedy Chris, just coming through that middle sector there. But at the moment, it's just looking like these 3 pretty evenly matched. Nobody seems to be massively quicker than any of the other 2. They all seem to be pushing their own parts of this lap. They all seem to have their strength around the Oulton Park circuit. Spaz a bit wide there on the exit of Druid. Here goes Tony Danjo now, looking to the outside into Lodge corner. And Spaz is going to have to defend on inside line. Tony's very late on the brake. Can he swoop around the outside here? Spaz keeps it there, pinned on the inside. Tony very wide on the curve a little bit, can't keep the momentum. And Spaz gets that back, but Tony's going to look to try and use the side draft around the outside, down towards Oulton corner we come. Goes late on the brakes once again. Tony's got incredible confidence on the brakes, and Spaz can't hold it. And Spaz loses it there onto the grass, and he keeps it out of the wall just about. But Tony Danjo now into the lead of the race. Spaz there was, I think, realised too late that he hadn't done enough to keep onto that position on the inside, and then put the foot down, trying to run him out of road, but then realised he couldn't, and just had to take evasive action there. Got a little bit of oversteer.
He's making his way back up the field. He is now in P9. looking to overtake Torde here.
Archie's made a mistake. Archie's now behind Windsor, so Archie's had dropped it somewhere.
Archie has spun in the final sector. Tarich is making a move on Torde into Ireland now, and made that look very easy for him to make.
Yeah, I don't think Torde fought that too hard. He obviously is aware that Guitar Rich is a contender this season, and Guitar Rich has made incredible improvements, clearly. Just looking at his qualifying
Danny Boy looking down the inside of Pete Bibb into...
His stops,
yep.
Yep, not quite in a position to be able to make it happen just there. These two, not too far.
Very close into it.
Yeah, I think that these two battling just allowed Quad to stretch his legs a little bit there in P4, and in fact now it doesn't look like in fact Spuzz is now 4 seconds behind Tony. And Spuzz got a bit of damage. Right, I'm just watching Spuzz here. I think Spuzz might have a bit of damage. He's spent very wide coming out of Druid. He's losing more time to Tony and Speedy Chris. He's dropping back into the touch of the Quad, and Spuzz could be sensing a podium spot here pretty soon in this race. Also, Denny Boy is close back onto the back of Pete Bibb still, but Quad's pulling away from Pete Bibb and Denny at the moment. But like you say, Speedy Chris still keeping that pressure on Tony at the moment. And yeah, it's looking like an exciting fight here at the front. Spuzz though, I think, almost certainly has damage because he is falling off of the two wheels at a rapid rate, and you can see Spuzz getting another half a second in the first sector.
Him coming in towards Ireland, it doesn't look like he's got any front end damage. He may have some rear end damage.
Potentially, it could be suspension maybe, who knows, but yeah, at this point, we see Tony and Speedy Chris still pretty close here, 4/10 for the second time separation. These two out the front coming down towards his stops here for the 6th time. I just want to say a big shout out to everybody in the comments tonight here on the YouTube stream here on Motive. 8 likes so far, guys, keep them coming. Great turnout in the chat. Unfortunately, we couldn't have everybody here tonight. Obviously, it's the summertime and a lot of people away on holiday at the moment.
Danny Boy looking to make a move here on Pete Bibb very shortly.
Yeah, he is 4/10 between these two coming up towards Warwick Bridge, and yeah, he's just trying to, I think, maybe forcing into a mistake here. It doesn't seem like he's too intent on going for any rash or reckless manoeuvres. Danny Boy's being patient. Oh, no,
Danny Boy spun!
Yeah, he gets loose on the curb there. You don't want to be getting on that curb too heavily. He didn't get on the grass, but he got a bit sideways on the curb. He was trying to overcorrect the car whilst on the curb, and the car just did not want anything to do with it. And around he goes.
Another bad day in the office for Danny at the start of the race. 10 minutes in, and he's had a shocking 10 minutes. Hopefully he can pull it back in the next 49 minutes to go.
Yeah. Tony and Speedy Chris currently 3/10 between at the moment into Island Bend. Spuzz there continues to drop off with the top two, but Quad hasn't gained as much on Spuzz over the start. I think Quad might have made a mistake. He's dropped back into touch with Pete Bibb a bit. He had pulled out a bit of a gap prior to that. Denny Boy obviously now no longer a threat to Pete Bibb, and Denny Boy's made another mistake here out of Cascade. Guitar Rich is going to pick him off with ease here coming in towards Island Bend, and Denny Boy really struggling at the moment. I don't know if he's got a bit of damage, maybe he's just got a bit of a loss of confidence maybe, but he seems to be paddling at the moment. In the meantime, Archie's on the back of Windsor for P10 as they're coming down towards Cascade. He's having a little look, but Windsor's not too phased by that. Obviously Archie's trying to make him think that something's going on. He's trying to make him, a bit worried, but I don't think Windsor's too concerned. I think he knows that Archie's not actually going to go for any rapid reckless manoeuvres. So he's just sitting there calmly relaxed, knows that there's nothing really to worry about. And Archie's gone wide, coming through Island Bend onto the grass a little bit, keeps it out of the wall. But yeah, that one's just kind of petered out a little bit just there then. Oh, it's Tony Big Wiggle coming out of Lodge Corner, up over the line to finish lap 6 of the race. Speedy Chris looking closer than he's been in a few laps here in towards Old Hall Corner, a little bit too far back at the moment to make the move. A lot of comments coming in right now. I want to share a big shout out to everybody. John Dick, Cisco Dennis, Eric the Viking, also Snooky as well, Stuart Paul, Evo Venga as well, Light Base Places, Jazzman. Jazzman last season's champion of this very championship here. He can't make it for this season, he's busy with other things, but good to see him in the chat checking us out. Currently, we've got a great battle up the front here between Tony and Speedy Chris. It could be either of these two. Is your success of this season, Jazzman, or it could be somebody who's not even here this week, seeing as we've got a few away on holiday at the moment. So yeah, unfortunate we couldn't have a full grid for the season opener. Just I think we picked the wrong week really to start the season, but nonetheless, Tony and Speedy Chris, nothing between them at the moment. Here goes Speedy Chris.
It is
He's got a
getting
great
close.
run. He's got a great run.
We also got Pete Bibb now within half a second of Podolungu for P4.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, as Archie's made another mistake coming out of turn 1 and has lost massive time to win.
Unfortunately, he's dropped a bit off the back of him right now. So we've still got Pete Bibb pretty close to the back of Todd at this point, and Tony Danjo still out the front for 3 tenths at the moment over Speedy Chris. So we got Blake saying is it only a 1 hour race? No, it's just a 1 hour race on ACC, mate. Paul Mitchell doesn't have team Mitch says go wins heads down, keep calm. And Disco Face says, wait, what? Another Disco? Actually, yeah, I noticed that Denny Boy's name is Disco Dennis on the Discord server. So yeah, I think it's like a little team going on there. Disco Face, shout out, former teammate. In a Project Cars 2 Gt3 League, used to drive in BMW with him. We almost want to construct this championship, and I almost want to drive this championship in Gt3 League on Project Cars 2, but we both came up short in each of our respective championships there. But nonetheless, we had some great fun over a couple of seasons there. Good to see you in the comment section there, mate. But yeah, Denny Boy's still on
Denny Boy is closing on Guitar Rich now, but I'm also just looking at the split time between.
It's a massive slide. They got out of Cascade.
I was just watching the split times between Spuzz, Cod, and Pete Bibb, and I clicked away and I clicked back to Pete Bibb, to Cod, and Cod was sat coming into Island Bend, so he's lost it through the left-hander sweeper. Doesn't look like he has got any damage. Hopefully he should be alright.
Got a lead change. Tony Janjo's dropped it, and Speedy Chris is now leading the race by 4 seconds. So Tony must
big
have had a
damage
moment
on the front end.
Yeah, he probably would be well advised to come in and get that fixed. As I'm just noticing also the track condition has gone up to fast. So as the sun continues to gleam down on the track, the moisture. A little bit of the moisture on the surface are now starting to make their way up into the atmosphere, and we're now seeing a faster circuit out there. Tony Danjo picks here to get that damage repaired. Quite neatly avoids that little precinct there.
Wins to defend this move from Archie here, coming in towards shocking at track calling names. Oh, and Archie goes for a late move and locks the rear end up and goes straight across the grass.
Yeah, he's going to have to do that place back to
Oh, it's a bad place to be sitting as letting them drive through on the racing line, but at least he's giving the place back.
Exactly, yeah, so all's fair, all's well that ends well, but Speedy Chris in the meantime, big lead out the front, 8 seconds now over Spurs, obviously with Tony coming into a bit, but Tony could still be a factor.
Bibb has dropped massively off for Spurs on that last lap. It was about 2 seconds, it's now 2 or 3 seconds, it's now 5 seconds between Pete Bibb and Spurs, so I'm guessing Pete Bibb may have let off with having Lungu spin in front of him. But Tony's pit stop is taking his time, as he's just been dropped now. He should be getting underway now. Here he goes.
Yeah, that
so
was
nearly a full lap down.
That was a long pit stop there for Tony. That was yeah, certainly not what he would have been wanting there at all. But nonetheless, he crosses the pit exit.
Now made the questioning of did he go for tyres in the event of wets.
Yeah, I mean, he would have probably been well advised to. I mean, he might as well at this point. I reckon the tyre deg could be a reasonably a factor around here. You would think it would.
It's quite bad on the front right, right hand side tyre. Yeah, rear right. It depends on what the car weight is really, because it wears differently on different weight cars.
You've got a very fast left-hander, obviously in Island Bend. You've obviously got Cascade as well, which is quite unconventional, never-ending corner.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's a lot of corners that you take flat out and the tyres screeching, you know, you're willing the car to turn at speeds that, you know, the tyres do
Yeah,
not want to go
definitely.
at. So, yeah, you're fine, but they do well
Oh,
quick.
someone spun ahead. That is Windsor and Archie.
Oh dear. Oh, Windsor's lost it again as he's trying to get it going. And
Windsor's
he's very
now
going
going to be getting overtaken by Tony into the final corner.
And that is the last thing that Windsor wanted there. He's been overtaken by Tony, who's already been in to make his mandatory pit stop. So Windsor obviously still yet to make it. He's been overtaken by Tony, who has come in to make his already. So Tony came in and got his pit stop done and out of the way, and Windsor's still got to do his. So that's going to be we're going to be absolutely aching watching that AMG drive off into the distance here. As Torde's got Nilsson now looming large in his rearview mirror here. Nilsson in that yellow 36 Bentley, his traditional choice of vehicle over the last few seasons here. And Nilsson here is going to be, I think, looking to put himself into Q7 as soon as he possibly can here. This is really the only battle going on right now. Keeping an eye on the battle, or not really battle, but the gap between Speedy Chris and Spud at this point. It's going up at the moment.
Podolunga has spun again.
Oh,
That's
no.
now put Tar Rich into the camera shot of Podolunga.
Yeah, so Guitar Rich will... Oh, to be fair, it's not been a bad try from Guitar Rich since his early skirmish. He had the collision with Danny Boy. Interestingly, actually, Guitar Rich now ahead of Danny Boy, with Danny Boy's further excursion. Since then, obviously, Guitar Rich came off way worse in the actual collision itself with him and Danny Boy. But since then, Danny Boy's made a couple of mistakes. So he's now 6 seconds behind Rich. But yeah, Guitar Rich, he's currently about 25 seconds off the lead at this point. So it's not too bad at the moment for him. Yeah, he just needs to keep this momentum going. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Guitar Rich can get himself on the podium. But one man I want to just shout out to at this point, and he's kind of gone under the radar a bit, is Pete Dibb. Because he's driving a cracker of a race tonight in the next week.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's kept himself out of trouble, kept his nose clean, kept his head down, not drawing attention to himself. And he's currently getting the reward at the moment, standing on that final step of the podium. Obviously, we've got Tony running intense, who's already been into the pit to make his stop.
That pit stop was very long, so I'm expecting that Tony did take tyres and fuel, which with the regulations you don't have to take fuel or tyres. You literally have to go and do a stop and go. In theory, you're good to go. Which stop and go is you park up, it goes up, goes down, you're out.
Yeah, exactly. So nice and easy. And Tony, well, we're not sure exactly what he did, but we've got a good idea of what occurred in that pit stop. Nonetheless, Nilsson's not gained much more on Torday over the last few laps. Back at 1.3 for Torday, started to respond a bit. Those two looking pretty evenly matched at this point in this battle for 7th and 8th places. Big question is, where is Tony going to come out? I reckon he might come out in second. He came into the pits in second. He obviously had a bit of damage, which he would have probably had
that
to...
damage seemed quite hefty, coming up right on the helicopter cam. This is the only only camera that I can get that actually tracks the car.
But he obviously didn't feel like it was needed to fix it, so maybe it wasn't as bad as maybe it looks.
Well, from the helicopter cam it has been fixed, but from the helicopter cam before the crash, after the crash, before he pitted, it did seem quite a hefty bit of damage, which it will cost him a long time to get that sorted. Even if he's lost it and hit that tyre barrier, he's hit that front left or he's hit the front right, he's going to have suspension damage, which is suspension damage takes even longer.
Yeah, sure, it's not going to be an easy way back into this race for him. But we've got Guitar Rich. No, Guitar Rich has dropped off at the back in Podolunga a little bit. That's now over 3 seconds between those two. So, Cod seems like he's got the pace here. I don't know if Guitar Rich has maybe just hit a bit of a flat spot in this race at this stage. But yeah, he seems like he's not really got what it takes to put Cod under pressure at this point.
It just seems like he's pulling away slightly.
Nilsson's got 3 tenths with Torde. He's right on the back of him. Torde a little bit shaky. They're coming out of Oulton down towards Cascade. Here he goes. Nilsson around the outside, and Torde lets him go. Oh no, he doesn't.
Oh, he's not. Oh, Nilsson's gone.
Oh no. And he's going to have to spin that back round again. Gets it nicely pointing back onto the racing line.
He's got a long gap to Archie behind, so he just needs to keep his head down and push towards Torde, which Torde want to be one of my fellow team drivers along with Kodalungu. I'm rooting for these boys tonight, and it just doesn't seem like they've 100% with the car. I don't know if it's the track, because whenever I come here I do struggle, and I'm definitely not pulling out of this race because I don't like the track.
Now obviously Ryan has his pedal issues which he's struggling with at the moment, so that's his excuse anyway. Whether or not to tell the truth, I will have to take his word for it, I guess. I mean, we can't prove otherwise, so we'll have to take his word for it.
Oh, we'll have to do a time trial, and you can watch me drive. Oh, as Archie spun it in the...
Yeah, you can't do a time trial if your pedals are like, you can, mate.
Oh, you can see me, for a bolt.
Guitar Rich lost it?
Guitar Rich has just, Archie's just lost it, which has now given Tony P9. So Tony is making his way up the grid. He is, he's a good 40-50 seconds, but he is very far behind. He's 22 seconds behind Nilsson. Nilsson's...
How long do we reckon a pit stop is here in...
It's one of the shortest pit stops on in the game. So I'm saying that a stop and go would be 22 seconds, 23 seconds.
Okay, yeah, so he's certainly about a net 20 seconds off of the lead at this stage.
He's, yeah, net 20 seconds and maybe more, depending on what Speedy Chris does and Spurs does. But Speedy Chris is on his own.
Tony's best bet in this race is probably the podium, I'd say.
Yeah, all he's hoping for is Pete Bibb and have an issue throughout a race, give him damage, and he can make his way up from there. But there's a very unlikely chance of him getting P1 because the gap between Pete Bibb and Speedy Chris is 18 seconds, which that's close enough to be the pit stop. So he needs to be up behind Guitar Rich, which Guitar Rich just crossed the line now. And Guitar Rich is 20 seconds behind Pete Bibb. So it's 40 seconds, and then it's 2 seconds, so 42. And then it's another 5 seconds to Kodalungu, which Kodalungu's lost P4 now to Guitar Rich and Denny Boy.
Yeah, Cole must have dropped it on the last lap. As we've got 13 people watching on the stream right now, guys, smash that like button if you can. We've got currently 9 likes on the stream. Can we get 13 likes on the stream if we can? That'd be absolutely awesome. No reason why we can't have 13 likes, guys. Come on, as you said, 13 people watching. Let's get those 13 likes. We've got Speedy Chris looking good as Jazzman. He is Jazzman at the moment. He's driving the wheels off of that Bentley, and once again, the Bentley, like we've seen over the last few seasons, seems to be the car of choice. Now, I know that it's not as OP as we initially might be. We're going to go on to this topic again, are we? We are.
No, I've just gone onto the replay to see where Kodalungu crashed. Kodalungu, yet again, had spun coming through Island Bend. He didn't get any damage, but he Tokyo drifted it onto the grass onto the outside, and unfortunately lost time to Guitar Rich and anymore.
Well, he's dropping back now as well because I know he's about 5 seconds behind Guitar Rich. He's about 2 seconds behind Denny and about 3 seconds behind, and Denny was about 3 seconds behind Guitar Rich. And those gaps are going up, so Todd seems to be losing more time at this point. I don't know whether it's just confidence.
Kodalungu is actually closing on Denny now, so
Denny's got front Guitar Rich. Denny made a mistake.
He's listening to us talk about him, and he's trying to impress for the the team, or
Denny made a
trying to
mistake.
put a show
I'm
on
90%
for
sure that
us.
Denny made a mistake because he lost about 2 seconds in his target just through that sector alone. Um, but yeah, like you say, Todd's now starting to get a bit of a fire in his belly. Look at this, he's closing even more here on Denny. That gap's now 1.6. So yeah, you're right, Ryan. He's now got a bit fired up here.
He's fired up. Codalungu loves to get a bit fired up
He's
midway
thinking,
through the
no,
race.
these guys can't talk about me anymore. I'm coming at them now. But anyway, Codalungu here on a bit of a charge. Andrea Rigamonti, I believe that's Iron Saver. Says, hi everyone, shame I couldn't make it tonight, have a good race. Yeah, shame we couldn't be here tonight, but looking forward to catching you next week. Flakey saying, can you give us the time in another way? It looks awful, Flakey. Ryan can read it out. Ryan, if you want to give us a bit of info on the times at the moment. Oh, it's kind of really wide coming out of Nickerberg, all over the grass, gets a bit of damage on the left side of the car.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Codalungu there. He was right in the back of Denny Boyer, and he was looking to make a place on him.
Massively unfortunate there.
Do you want me to do the times, did you just say?
Yeah, if you can do the times for us, just on the timetables at this point, so we can get a better idea of who's doing what pace and who's closing on who.
Unfortunately, I cannot get the pace up. It's not letting me see
what are the times not coming up?
No.
Right, let me just quickly get them up on the screen. So currently the lap times that are showing up on your screen right now, in fact actually I can't get them up. No, you're right, you are right, you have got a point. I don't know how to do it. Can somebody tell me how to do it? I have no idea what I'm doing here.
There's two plonkers sitting here and just trying to work out this.
I've only done about can't swear. I've only done about 300 streams on ACC, you know, I'm not experienced enough yet, I haven't done this enough times.
I can give you the interval times, and that's the best I can do.
Yeah, we've got that on the screen already, but that's not much use. But click on driver. Oh shoot! I remember now. Jazz man.
I'm trying to click on the driver, and it won't.
Chris's last lap was a 1:36.9. Problem is you can't click driver on this setting though. So you have to literally jump in and out. So
well, you might want to hop off here as Nielsen is looking at a move onto Torde into the second chicane. Two behemoth motors, these two are the Lexus and the Bentley. Two cars that you don't want to go free wide with, which I found out the wrong way, but it does not work.
Yeah, so Nielsen is currently just about under a second here, off at the back of Torde at the moment. Also one thing I'm noticing on the screen, I don't know whether the cars have got a bit of damage there, or what, but Pete Bibb is now only 4 seconds behind him. So
Pete Bibb is closing.
He is really gaining hand of this.
Just also looking at the time intervals between Tony and Benny. Tony obviously having to pit stop for the damage earlier in the lap, earlier in the race. He's 23 seconds ahead of Denny Boy, so he should be in the region of Pete Bibb, between Pete Bibb and Gt3, depending on his these guys' pit strategies.
Yeah, as you say, I mean, you know, it depends on how much time you spend in the pit stop, but you've currently got Nielsen at the moment. He's about a tenth of a second off the back of Torde as they're coming out of
He's trying to make a move here, there and everywhere on
yeah, but the thing is, Torre's just got the speed coming, he's got the speed to the corners. Nielsen seems to have good traction in that Bentley, but Lexus seems to just have a grip to the corner. I don't know what it is, but at the moment, yeah, Torre seems to have the answer to Nielsen. And whatever Nielsen has to throw at him, Torre's like, yep, no.
The Lexus is a very good car, very competitive on a set of course PS4.
Yeah, Ryan, obviously they're just getting a bit confused because we have been playing quite a bit of Project Cars 2. Recently we've been doing quite a bit of racing on Project Cars 2. over the last few weeks. We have got league actually on Monday, Thursdays and Fridays. We've got touring cars tomorrow night. There'll actually be two in the box right now, in the box tomorrow night for the touring cars. Make sure you tune in at 8:30 PM BST tomorrow night for the touring cars and project cars too. Myself and Ron will once again be taking you through that. I think we'll full trip for that one. But yeah, nonetheless, Torres still trying to hold Nilsson at bay. Nilsson's wide through Cascade. Where's he gone? Where's he gone? Where is he? Where's he ended up here?
He's about a second behind now, mate.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of time there to Torres. Well, not a massive amount of time, but always Torres is back out of it. Torres at the moment towards the island bend, and Nilsson wide through Shell Oil hairpin.
He done a very late breaking point, and that did not go well for Nilsson here.
Yeah, to me it looked like Torres at the moment, but actually I think what it was Nilsson just went completely nuts.
Honolulu is
he's
in a battle of his own, trying to fight his demons around the track at the moment on his with 8-second gap to Gt3 and over 20 seconds to Torday.
Yeah, he's at the moment he's just.
Oh, there's Gt3 is into the pits. Now this is going to be nice to see what he's going to do for pit stop strategy, as he's just clipped the wall on the entry of the pit lane. Is he going to do a quick stop and go, or is he going to do fuel and go for the rest? Okay,
yeah,
so he is in there. 1, 2. He is down and he is good to go now. Should be going now.
Yeah, looks like a bit of a hold up, so I think he might.
Here we go, he's now down now, he's about to make a move. So he is coming out behind Nilsson. Torday is into the pit lane.
Bit of fuel there for Gt3.
Tony is coming into turn 1. Whether it's going to put him out, Gt3 has just come through, coming down towards Cascade. So Gt3 and Tony have got a little bit of a battle ahead.
Yeah, they have indeed. So Gt3 just coming down towards Island Bend. It looks like he's a couple of seconds here ahead of Tony. So Gt3 managing to get the jump here. Obviously, Tony at the moment
is gone wide in the final corner.
I wonder how close Gt3 is going to be to podium spots here with Spider-Man PP. He could be in the thick of it, you know, for a podium here, Gt3 after the collision on the first lap that he had, obviously with Danny Boy.
It's going to be hard to say. It depends on how much damage Spuzz has got, but Spuzz has got 5 seconds to Pete Bibb, and then it's
pull out a bit again now.
Yeah, I've just watched Pete Bibb get caught up behind Denny Boy slightly, but Gt3 and Tony are near on a lap down on Spuzz.
Going nearly a second on Gt3, just coming through that middle section there.
Rich
so I don't know if Gt3 made a mistake.
Flyer on his own up the front. He is just coming through to. He's actually trying to close up towards Tony and Gt3, and he's just had a slight moment in the second to last corner. So he's really pushing it as. Nilsson's in the pit lane, so where is this going to put him compared to Torday? So Nilsson stops now. Torday is just coming through sector 2. If Nilsson has a slow pit stop, he could come out ahead of Nilsson here.
I think Nilsson should be alright, but yeah, Torday just coming through Warwick Bridge, down toward, Juries and that lot, but yeah, Nilsson's still in that box, so I wonder if he's changing tyres maybe.
There we go, Torday just coming into the final corner, coming out the final corner and up the hill he comes.
Nilsson's off the jack.
Nilsson's just off the jack, and it's going to be side by side out of the pit lane.
Oh. Here's Torday, he's through Oulton, he's done it, he's done it, he's done it. There he is.
Nilsson's going to be pushing hard now. So they both jumped on tyres, and they've come out in the region that they were in before, which is not too bad. We've now got Archie and Denny Boy have gone a bit ahead of Torday.
Yeah, so Spoz's managed to continue to pull out the gap.
Tony is looking to make a move on Guitar Rich here off a P5.
He's closed on him rapidly. The gap was 2.5 seconds when he came out of the pit. Part of a second as they come over the line. Tony's on an absolute flyer. He's on a mission here. He had damage obviously in the first part of the race. He's going to battle with Speedy Chris before he has the stage.
Lungu's 30 seconds down on Pete Bibb. So he's
through Cascades, and that's going to allow Tony up the inside. P5 for Tony. Job done. Speedy Chris away into the pit.
Struggling again with this car. He's now 30 seconds behind Pete Bibb.
Yeah, Cod not having the night. It's not been too bad.
Speedy Chris is in the pit lane.
Out of trouble. Yeah, I was saying the race leader's in the pits, but the Cod, it's not been a messy night for him. It's just not really set the world right, has he? He's not really shown any glimpses of promise. You know what I mean? It's just been a little bit average. Speedy Chris still in the pit. Spud takes the lead, obviously. Still yet to make his pit stop. We've got Pete at 7 seconds behind Spud at the moment.
So Chris is just coming out of the pit lane now. Cod is just coming out of the line.
Yeah, hold on, I had a cod here. So Speedy Chris is now out. Tony is absolutely miles behind Speedy Chris, as we expect, about 40 seconds behind him on the track.
So looking at this, it's going to be a close one between Circus Tony as he comes out the pit lane.
Out for second place in this race. Pete Bibb also in that battle, although saying that Spud has started to pull out the gap a little bit to Pete Bibb over the last few laps, so it's looking like Spud should be okay for that P2 to Pete Bibb, but as you say, Ryan, that was a hiccup. Tony Banjo still very much in that fight, as Spud, Pete Bibb and Tony, the only drivers still yet to serve their pit stop here in this race, but you've got Pete Bibb coming out onto the start-finish straight at the moment, and he looks like he's not losing too much time to Spud over that lap. 7.1 the gap between those two, but yeah, as we say, Tony will swap into that battle, maybe come out in between them for this final stint of the race.
So the leading two at the moment
Archie's on the back of Denny, sorry Ryan, cut off your said. Archie's trying to hassle. If Dave's got ahead of him, I don't know if Denny's just got ahead of him.
Denny's made a mistake because he was right to the back of Guitar Rich.
No, he must
No, to lie, he was behind Archie. Archie and Denny have been battling for a while, but Codlungu is into the pit lane. That is going to be a test on to see what strategy Codlungu is on, which with practice of seasons before, I've always said to do a quick stop and go, which he has done a stop and go, so this will boost him up quite a bit actually. So Tony's just coming through turn 1. Codlungu, depending on how much tyre wear there is, you may not need it. He'll struggle towards the end, but he's got a massive gap to Guitar Rich now.
Well, Cod's aim in this race is now just got to be maintain P5, bring it home, get some good points.
Yeah, P5 is his target, which with Pete Bibb and Spurs, if they both come in and do tyres, it's going to be a close one between Pete Bibb and Codlungu here.
Yeah, it certainly is. So Cod is got the gap down to 1.6, obviously with Tony, but I reckon that gap's going to go up as this stint goes on, because as we know, Cod hasn't changed tyres. He's literally chopped in the box, went up, went down, and then off and away again. So no drama.
He looks to be closing this gap up, which if he can get ahead of Tony, he can defend the place. He could cause a spanner in the works for Tony here.
I'm wondering if some of the other drivers have half tanked it, and Cod's been running on a full tank the whole time. Because obviously he wasn't in the pits right along the full.
No,
so
which is usually what I
could
always
explain why he's
said
been a
to
bit
do
off the pace. It could be explained why he's a little bit off the pace, the fact that he's full tanked it. Whereas the others stopped the fuel, They yeah.
Across the line, it is 1.5. So Oulton just lost 0.4 of a second in that final sector. But he is on a charge to get this P4 off of Tony.
It's a bit strange that, because I would have thought that he would have struggled in the first half a lap.
Spurs has just made a mistake. Just clicked onto him as he was off the track slightly.
Yeah, he's looking alright though. Peter's gained about a second on him, but no massive
These two are not making that pit stop yet. I don't know if Pete Bibb's going to do it yet, no?
Nope, staying out for the time being. Obviously feels like he doesn't need to do it yet. Just under 5 seconds now the gap, so Ryan, you're absolutely right. Buzz with a bit of a mistake, which has now cost him quite a bit of time here to the man currently in second place, but obviously he's to a net second and third, with Speedy Chris being the net race leader. Could even be a net third and fourth, depending on where Tony Danjo ends up once this all is said and done. Tony's now pulled out about 3 tenths to Cod on this lap so far, so he seems to have the measure of Cod at the moment, and as we both predicted, Cod's tyres are only going to deteriorate relative to the others for the rest of his race, so I don't think that that's going to get any better for him. It's going to be a case of damage limitation, keep it going for Codalungu.
I've just clicked onto the tour day. Fortunately, he's lost the battle to Nelson. He's now back down to P10.
Yeah, so that gap is now actually near enough 10 seconds now between Nelson and Torday. So I think that pretty much is petered out there for Torday. He's sort of a bit wide there on the exit of the Cascade. Just get a bit of the grass up there. You don't want to be mowing the lawn too much, because that will definitely make you the subject of a scorn from the other drivers.
So he's leading these net P1, P2. They're keeping the gap between each other.
Yeah.
Just wondering when they're going to make this pit stop, because they've got 15 minutes to go, and they're not going to get these tyres at the optimum with 10 minutes to go. So they want to be making this pit stop soon.
Yeah, they definitely do. Get it done and out of the way. So obviously then, if the first driver to come in and get the pit stop done, it then puts the other guy under pressure, because it's like, okay, here's my roll of the dice, now you've got to go and do something. And obviously it kind of like, it puts you under pressure a bit more. Having said that, when the shoe's on the other foot, when you're the driver that's leading or you're the driver that's ahead, because you haven't made the pit stop, it also it kind of leaves the guy who's coming first chasing it. So I understand the mentality either way, you know. It really, there is no advantage to do it one way or the other. It's exactly the same thing if you think about it logically, but you know, psychologically, that's a very different story. But as far as obviously Stuart's got the net P2 in this race, P1 out on track, the gap staying at around the same between these two, and neither of them showing any signs yet of wanting to come in. Obviously no mandatory pit window, and it doesn't look like either of these guys are going to be changing tyres, so it doesn't really matter when they come in. They could just leave it to the last lap. It makes absolutely not a single bit of difference when they come in to the length of their pit stop, or down to the nature of what they're going to be getting changed when they come in. Pete Bibb's gained 6 tenths to the second on Spud on this lap, so now it looks like Pete Bibb's starting to gain a bit of confidence with Spud making mistakes potentially.
He's gained point, or Spurs is just losing that back end. Those tyres are making a way out.
That marker out of the way, Pat marker's at the moment.
Wins are.
Yeah,
I'm still really worried about these two at the front.
Hopefully he does. Windsor does that Pete Bibb through. He's on the racing line there. Pete Bibb has to go to the inside. Pete Bibb though has got the gap down to 3.3 here to Spud. So
Spuz had a mistake at the final corner. He lost the back end, just coming in, came in a bit too hot. But that's the only issue with these the Porsches and the high wing little Gt3s is that when they're not bulky, say it's like the Bentley or the Lexus, the back end just steps out so easily.
Jasmine just says in the comments here, he goes, Spuz could jump Speedy Chris if he comes in, doesn't stop and go. He could just potentially jump Speedy Chris. 19 seconds for that.
It's going to be tight if he come in a bit earlier and done the stock up earlier and not overcooked his tyres. He would have done it, but he's in the range of him his tyres burning out now, so this stop and go is going to be a tight one for him.
Yeah,
oh, as Nielsen is right on the back of Denny Boy here. Denny Boy's had an issue.
Denny's put damage on the front. Look at that.
That's massive damage.
Yeah.
So that'll give Torde the place up to P9 if
you think so,
Denny
yeah.
Boy pits.
You think so. The thing is, in that situation, it's not even about losing time. It's just about comfort. At the end of the day, I just want to come in just so I can actually control the car. It's not going to be enjoyable driving a car when it's that impaired. So yeah, I'd have to say I think that Denny Boy's going to be. I think Denny Boy's going to be bringing it in this time around. If I'm perfectly honest.
Oh, is that a slow moving electrical?
You're right there, mate.
I'm really tired.
I do feel the same thing, so I've been...
Long day at work, mate.
Like 3 hours last
too
night.
much.
Yeah, I was up at 4 o'clock this morning to work as well. 3 hours sleep last night. Hopefully it's not showing on the stream, but... hopefully we've been able to place you to sleep well. Oh, Pete Bibb has made a mistake. Pete Bibb's made a massive mistake coming through Britain onto the grass, and that's going to potentially derail his chances of taking a second place in this race. And also, Speedy Chris has got the gap down to 17 seconds now for Spud, so I think that
stop and go is not going to happen.
No, certainly not now. It's going to be like a little while there.
Spud needs to make this pit stop now because the gap between... Oh, actually, he's going to have a massive gap between Speedy Chris and Tony. The only thing is that if he goes for tyres, it's going to be close.
Nah, there's no point in changing tyres now. He's done 50 minutes of this race on one set of tyres. He'd be an idiot to change tyres now. There's no point. At the end of the day, you committed to one strategy.
Oh, it goes Pete Bibb into the pit lane.
You've got to stick to your strategy. Stick to your guns at this point, I'd say.
Here we go. Is Pete Bibb going to do a stop and go, or what? We're going to see now.
The thing is, Speedy Chris on his fresher tyres is going about a second a lap quicker than Spud at the moment. So I reckon Spud is
Pete Bibb is
up by a win.
I think he's just been dropped. He's gone.
Yeah, there he goes.
So he's going to jump up to P2. Yeah, he's going to be net P2 now.
No, Speedy, yeah.
Net P2. Tony D'Angelo is just gone through the final corner.
Nowhere
so
near.
We should be seeing Spurs coming in this lap.
Yeah, Tony nowhere near Pete Bibb, nowhere near a podium spot. So, Spurs obviously, I think, is going to be kissing goodbye to his hopes of a race win here. He's not got enough of a gap to Speedy Chris, nothing near enough of a gap to be able to take this win. He's probably going to come out about 10 seconds behind Speedy Chris. Once the pit stops are done into the final 10 minutes here. Speedy Chris doing a brilliant race. Tony D'Angelo looked like he could have challenged him in this one, but made a mistake shortly before, maybe about a third of the way into the race it would have been. Tony D'Angelo made a mistake, got some damage, had to come into the pit for some lengthy repairs.
Into the pit lane now, so this is going to be the tight question, is he going to do a stop and go or not?
I reckon he'll come
down the pit lane. He possibly will. He comes into the box. He is stopped.
Yeah, that's not
Pete Bibb just coming through the final corner. Oh, he's dropped now.
Good jump in here.
Going to be close on the exit. No, the Spurs is going to have him by a long shot.
Yeah,
but Pete Bibb may be able to jump him if he can keep it on the track, because Spurs has been struggling with that rear end for the last 10 minutes or so.
Do we reckon Spurs changed tyres?
No.
Do you reckon Pete Bibb did? So yeah, they're in the same situation really. 4 seconds between them.
But you've got to remember Pete Bibb made a mistake. So Spuz may have done the repair on his damage, but Pete Bibb made a mistake before the pit stop.
Yeah, he certainly did. But
Tony's just coming through Ireland now, and Coblungu's just over 6 seconds behind.
Maybe be a late rally. But yeah, I think, like you say, Pete Bibb made a mistake. And yeah, if he made a mistake before, he might make one again.
Denny is in the pit lane, that is jumped Torday up ahead of him. It might jump Windsor up ahead of him as well.
Windsor rattling over the curve coming out of the corner. Denny's voice is still, I think, in the box. Yep, he's not moving, doesn't look like he's going anywhere fast. But Windsor coming round P10. Is he going to be? Is he on the same lap? I think he is. So yeah,
we'll find out as soon as he crosses this first sector line.
Yeah. Blake says Pete can get Pete together.
Yeah,
I mean, he
definitely.
probably needs to try to make a mistake. Oh, he's close.
He is close. He's close half a second in that lap. So Pete Bibb has always been in a team that has been rival to me. So it's nice to be cheering him on for once. He's a talented driver and he is making his way up the grid, and he will be making his debut of being a champion at some point.
For sure, yeah. I must admit, it's you know, it's a shame not to see out on track, Ryan, but it's also great to have you in the comms box. I genuinely mean that sincerely, because you know it's the first time I've ever done a comms together, and it's actually. I feel like it's a really good partnership, if I'm honest. You know, I'm not trying to like feel soppy and, you know, but like, no, I think I really enjoyed tonight. I think it's been a good show for the viewers. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it in the box. I enjoyed it on the chat. We're in the box, we're in the chat. But, yeah, if you guys have enjoyed it, please smash the like button if you appreciate.
The chat's definitely thinking that you were trying to drag me out of racing to do comms, and then you can go racing.
So a new permanent commentator, former retired racer in the ACC Championship.
I will be making a return, and I will be making a return with.
Secretly, I wanted him back out on track as soon as possible. I knew that if I got him to do comms with me tonight, that would make him want to get his rig as soon as possible. So
that's funny enough. I went out for a practice lap, and my pedal just didn't want to work, so I got halfway around the track and I was going over the hill and it was like half throttle, and I was just like, I can't do this. So Pete Bibb actually has lost a second lap to Spuz, so he's just got 5 minutes to close 4 seconds, and all he's got to hope is Spuz makes a mistake here.
He's pushing a little bit too hard then, if he could possibly see him that he's not got enough many laps left to try and close that gap. Because he has gained another 3 tenths through his first section, so
he has.
He's back down again.
He's very quick through this first sector, I've noticed.
Yeah, he's got the pace, but I think maybe he's got a bit overexcited on that last lap. That could have cost him.
He made it very. It's very hard for this chicane, and this is where he's made multiple mistakes tonight. And even the best drivers make mistakes there. I make mistakes there, and some of the fellow drivers that he's worked with and raced against have made mistakes there quite often.
Yeah, but we can see also live in the comments then bromance in the air in regards to this new commentary partnership here tonight. Also, guys, if any of you were expecting to hear Freeman on the mic tonight, unfortunately he's not able to be here. His car got stuck. His car broke down on the motorway, and he's had to wait to get picked up. So unfortunately, has had to make apologies for tonight. Hopefully, when I Freeman back on the mic, who knows if Ryan's still not got his pedals sorted out by this time next week. We should have the 3 of us in the box. But I hope for Ryan's sake he does get that sorted out. But as I say, it's been a pleasure tonight for the opening round of the season.
I don't think it'll be next week. Possibly the week after. I looked at the delivery date for saying the end of the week, and that was yesterday. So possibly going to be ordering them Monday after I get paid, and hopefully they'll be here by Friday, and I can get them fitted for start of next week. Which will be a shame because there's I'm enjoying the Gt3 on Project Cars 2. and I was really looking forward to the GT5 series on Project Cars 2 on Friday.
As I say, hopefully, we might even have it back for the GT5 round 2 maybe, if you get it, if you're able to get it by next Friday, who knows?
I might be able to nab my way into using controller for a race or two.
Yeah, possibly, because it's a bit easier to use the controller on Project Cars. I know on ACC it's nigh impossible.
It's impossible on Project Cars 2. I cannot deal with it.
You can, I tell you what, the POs you'll struggle on default setups, but GT5 you can probably work your way around it. It's not easy, but it's possible.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. But in the meantime, Pete Bibb is now not really gaining too much.
He's now 3.8 though. He's all he's got to hope for is Spurs makes a mistake, which that gap looks smaller than 3.8 seconds. But it is. It's 3.2. Is that Windsor stop coming down to Cascades, or this is going to be close between Windsor and Spurs? Windsor's got to get out of the way for... oh, Spurs has spun!
Oh my! This is going to give Pete Bibb P2 here in this race. Pete Bibb moves up! Fantastic drive from Pete Bibb over the course of tonight, and he's going to get his reward. Second place here in this opening round of the season. I said earlier on he was keeping it under the radar. He was in a podium spot, obviously, with Tony Danjo's mistake. And he now finds himself in second place due to the mistakes from Spuz and Tony. Consistency has been his reward tonight, and Pete Bibb, I'm delighted to see him in this position. Obviously, runner-up in the GT4 class for the multi-class 2, a couple of seasons ago, TSL Ryan. And as you say, would it be great to see this man managing to stage a championship challenge?
To me, no, that was John Jinkman.
Oh, was it? I do apologise. I'm sorry, John. It was Pete Bibb.
No, Pete Bibb.
My memory's falling. My memory's falling to pieces.
It was me, John Jig.
I'm sorry. John Jig actually is in the comments right now. I do apologise, John Jig.
So John Jig's going to be fuming. He's going to be making a...
Yeah, I got confused with their teammates. They use the same number combination, just the other way around. That's why. Pete Bibb is 818 and John Jig's 181. That's why it's true.
Yeah. Which I'm surprised I've not seen John Jig here tonight. One of the drivers that I was expecting to see, showed a lot of talent last season. In the wet condition at Silverstone last season, he just come out of nowhere and ended up winning the race. He was a wonder in the wet in that Lamborghini.
One of them drivers who, on his day, can just throw up a massive surprise and, absolutely throw.
Just questioning this. If Spurs makes one more mistake, he could lose P3 here. No, he won't, because Tony's just made a mistake. That might give the chance of Kodalungu catching here.
Yeah, we've got to cut to the leader though, Ryan, because Speedy Chris is coming through the final sector. And what a drive it's been from Chris on his debut here in a competitive race here at Motive in our actual official ACC league. And he was having a great tussle with Tony Danjo in the opening stages of the race. Tony then made a mistake, which was kind of giving him a little bit, let him off the hook a little bit over the course of tonight. But Speedy Chris has not put a foot wrong and up towards the line. He's going to take the opening round of the season here at Motive for the GT3s on a Wednesday night as he does a little bit of theatrics there over the line. Speedy Chris takes the checkered flag in the number 64 pink and black Bentley, and what a superb inception from Speedy Chris here tonight. Pete Bibb is going to come up towards Lodge Corner. It's going to be second place here for Pete Bibb.
This is getting close between Kodalungu and Tony here.
Tony is paddling as we see Pete Bibb coming over the line to take a well-deserved second place. Brilliant stuff from Pete Bibb. Spuz is going to come out of the last corner, Lodge up towards the line. Third place for Spuz.
Can Kodalungu make it in the final corner and possibly not?
He's just going to come up short here. Cod, I think, isn't going to get there. Tony coming out of Lodge. Yeah, here comes Tony now.
So. Come along with Tony to get fourth and fifth place. With Guitar Rich, unfortunately, having a struggle, and he will end up in P6.
Yeah, Guitar Rich will show great potential over the course of this race. Didn't he? I mean, he got pole position and had the pace, but the collision.
You've got a caller.
Yeah, it's my boss. He wants me to bring in the keys to my work. Or he wants me to pick them up.
We're just going to see Tony Torre
Ryan,
come
by the way, my boss's name is Ryan as well, by the way. Ryan, if you're watching, I will be bringing him up in a minute. Oh no, I'll be going up there in a minute to pick him up. But, oh god.
No, he's definitely not watching.
No, he's definitely not. But anyway, that is that then, guys. That's the classification. 11 cars started, 11 cars finished the race as well. So